Hi Beginner Ensemble. This week we're going to work some more on the counting exercises that we talked about last week, and we're also going to work on bowings a little bit more, and I'll explain those a little bit more in depth than we've had a chance to do in our big classes so far. So if you can make sure that you print out the pages that we've attached on the links for today, or if you can pull those up on a separate device so you can look at both this video and those other pages. So first we're going to pull up lesson 5, and I just want to review a little bit. So this is lesson 5, and cellos, once again, your part will be in bass clef, and you'll have different notes, so the violins are going to play them on A's, play these exercises on A's, and the cellos can play them on D's. But the rhythms should all be the same, and the bowings will be the same as well. So let's look at this. So first of all, we have a 2/4 time signature, so that means that there are 2 beats and a measure, and as we all know, a quarter note gets 1 beat, so that means that there are 2 quarter notes and a measure. So I think before we start with the bowings, we should practice just counting along. So let's try line number 1 on lesson 5. Ready, go. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay? And we could try a harder one, so let's try pointing along and following along on number 4. So remember, this is 2/4 time signature, so we only ever count to 2. Let's try. Ready, go. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay. So now let's talk a little bit about bowings. Now we need to make sure that we know what we're looking for first. And this has all been something that we've had in our books up to this point, but I just want to spend a little bit more time talking about it. So when we have a down bow, that's this symbol right here. It looks like this symbol right here. It looks like it's square. It's a 3-part square instead of a 4-part square. So instead of 4 lines, it's 3 lines, so we're just missing the bottom half. And then when we have an up bow, I just kind of think of that as most of a triangle. So instead of 3 lines for a triangle, we have 2 lines for a triangle. So this is down bow, and this is up bow. Now, let's talk about what that means for a second. Let me get my violin. So for violins, when we have an up bow, which is the triangle symbol, well, for everybody, when we have an up bow, we usually are going to start either at the tip of the bow or in the upper half of the bow. So this is the middle of the bow. So, and remember, this is the upper half of the bow. So we're either going to start at the tip, in the upper half, or in the middle to do an up bow. So we can start here, and we're going to push our bow up. Okay, and for cellos, you're going to push your bow to the left. So you're going to push it this way, okay? So, and then for a down bow, we're going to start at the frog of the bow or in the lower half of the bow, okay? And then we're going to pull our bow down like this. Or for violins, on your upper strings, you'll just let the bow move down towards the ground. So it's a little different how we think about it for violin and for cello. So let's try line number 1. Now I've written some commas in, like here. So when you see one of those, we have to do a circle bow. So make sure that you're ready to go from a down to another down, or an up to another up. So let's try line number 1. So we start on a down bow, so let's start in the middle or the lower half, actually just the lower half of our bow. Let's try. 1, 2, ready, go. Down, up, down, up, rest. Down, up, down, let's try that one more time. Actually, let's try a different line. Can we try line number 4? So line number 4, we're going to start on an up bow. Okay, so let's start in the upper half of the bow, and we're going to push our bow up towards the sky. Okay, so this is the triangle. 1, 2, ready, go. Shh. Shh. 1, 2, 1, 2. Shh. Shh. Okay. So on that one, on that line number 4, we only had one bowing marked in. So when we're doing bowings, our bow should generally, unless there's an indication to do a circle bow, should move from up, down, or down, up. So it's always one after the other, unless there's an indication not to do so. So let's look at lesson number 5, or lesson number 6. So lesson number 6 is in 3/4. So we have 3 beats in a measure, 3 quarter notes in a measure. So let's try counting along on line number 2 of lesson 6. 1, ready, go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So I always find that my private violin lesson students do better if they practice counting these exercises out loud and then play them. So I highly suggest that you count a line and then practice playing it. That way you won't be focusing so much on the rhythms when we're trying to focus on learning some new bowings. So let's look at line number 2 of lesson number 6. So this exercise I also marked in starting with an up bow, and we have 2 retake bows. So be ready to do some quick retakes. So since we're starting on an up bow, let's start on the upper part of our bow. 1, ready, go. Okay. If you guys have any more questions about bowings, please get in touch with us. You can come to any of our Zoom office hours that we're holding. I'd also like to remind beginner ensemble students to keep practicing the pieces that we've looked at so far, which is Fall and Are You Sleeping? Both of those are really great pieces, and it would be nice if we have a chance to play them together again.